You are watching the #1 show in the whole YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are Lootcrate family. How you doing? Every single one of you. Thank you for watching every single thing of the content that we have for you guys. Jean-Paul, myself, and the Legend Killer, we had a fucking crazy week. You know, it's been like really busy. We've been covering every single thing that we always promise, and it is time, Jean-Paul, for like the Fallout show or SummerSlam. I don't think this Monday Night Raw was actually good.
Yeah, this boring. I think this was the first time we had a Fallout show that's also a Go Home show.
Yes, yeah.
At least the first that I can remember, you know, it was that's a Fallout show from SummerSlam. It's a Go Home show for Payback, and it's a Go Home show also because if we were in the audience, we would have wanted to go home. Yeah,
it is true. It is true. It was not good. It was like there was not really like good storytelling anymore, and I think they were rushing it because WWE, they love to book themselves in corners.
Yeah, they're really difficult to get out. I read a report that, you know, and this is no surprise. I don't know why this is like breaking news, but it is that they changed the script an hour before they went on the air.
Yeah.
I don't know how much. I don't know what, but it's like they ripped up the script and they changed a bunch of stuff they said, and I was like, all right, I could tell.
It is. You know, you can tell because, for example, like we're gonna talk about the debut of Kid Lee. That like seemed like they changed, like you said, a lot of things. Well, starting with the theme song, so it was not a good show. Raw Underground feels already dead for me. Doesn't really make any sense, like you said. But the only one thing is that we had a heel turn. Hopefully that expands and becomes more meaningful and becomes like one of the big storylines. I was really looking forward to see like what the Legend Killer promoted, like the tag match. But it turns out to be that they have to, of course, like do more crap, throw more crap on the Mysterio family. So I wasn't happy with that, Jean-Paul. There you go. Look at the set for ThunderGround or ThunderDome. There you go, ThunderGround. I created a new word right there.
Yeah, there you go.
That ThunderDome, like I mean, like the lightning, all of that, it looks cool.
Oh yeah, it was cool. I mean, and in ThunderDome there was lots of appearances. We had SummerSlam, we had Pikachu, but tonight we had Mario, we had Chris Benoit. I think somebody linked up a KKK rally. So ThunderDome is probably going to get shut down before we know it because people can't just enjoy it. So that to me is a little bit. I mean, okay, like when they held up the Pikachu and the Mario, like that's funny. Like okay, but you know, like the offensive stuff, it's like why ruin it for everybody else?
I mean, and then that's what you said, Jean-Paul. And I want to actually congratulate live to Jean-Paul because he's been on top of this, like telling me, like, did you see Mario? Did you see Pikachu? Did you see Benoit? And like the execution I just saw like a few minutes ago, like they have something like that. I mean, people are dumb, you know. You said this, you know, and you said this off camera. You said to me like people are going nuts because of this pandemic. You know, we're just trying to find ways to like get attention from people, so it's true. But like I don't really like that. But you know, WWE, they do this to themselves because pretty much they get whoever. So I mean, they just like even they have somebody fire the Velveteen Dream. We have that. Yep. So you know, it's been a crazy week. But like this whole, like you said, this Go Home show and this Fallout show, not really a lot to get from. So you know, let's start it, Jean-Paul. But one more time, family, thank you for watching every single one of the videos. You know, we have great content, so let's start it out, Jean-Paul, with, you know, the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. Right there. You know, he's like, who? You know, he's like, who? You're right there. Yeah. Come on, Drew. Come on to the stage. So he cuts a really good promo, though, Jean-Paul. He's happy that he beat Randy Orton, you know, and that rivalry is pretty much supposedly over because he cuts a really good promo. And he says that, you know, he says that like everything that I got in like for myself, and you know, Randy, like you got everything, just you know, it was handed to you. But see, like this time I beat you in a wrestling match, and remember that a month ago you got like a match for like who's the best wrestler in the world, and now I beat you, so I'm the best wrestler in the world. Along those lines, right, Jean-Paul?
Oh yeah, and I liked it. You know, again, he like you said, he called back. Oh, you know, you've had everybody in your little inner circle, and I was like, you know, what's his inner circle? What's going on here? Really? But he's like, everybody in your inner circle has always protected you. I had to fight and claw for everything, and I do love that clip. You know, at the end of this, where he was like, you know, you're the best wrestler in the world according to Ric Flair and everybody else, and I beat you, so I guess that makes me the best wrestler. Yes. He's like, because I didn't beat you with like a kick or whatever. He's like, I beat you with a wrestling hold, you know, a backslide and whatever's technically
a
wrestling hold. So he's like, I beat you with a wrestling move. So, and I like that from the champion. So.
Oh yeah. He also says Randy wants to step in the ring with him again. That's fine because he didn't get a chance to send Randy to Claymore Country. So we like you said, I was thinking along the lines that you booked, because I was like, okay, this is gonna be Payback. Is this gonna be, hey, I want a rematch? Okay, let's have a rematch. No big deal about it. But no, Randy Orton then comes out and he starts from the back. He starts attacking him. He takes it to gorilla position, and then he delivers 2 punt kicks to Drew McIntyre. So that was a really I like the execution of it. I wasn't too thrilled with how he came out after the punt kick though. It didn't look real to me. It looked really fake. I don't know how it looked for you.
Are you talking when he got up after the first one, or what do you mean?
No, how he delivered, how they have, you always say the angles are very important, and in this one, it looked really bad. He turned and he didn't even kick him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you saw that, that's kind of how I felt when he did the punt kick to Christian, and everybody's like, oh, well, Christian, his neck, and, you got to be careful. Okay, yeah, but then why is Randy Orton doing, the punt again? You don't have these guys who you can't, protect the move. If you know what I mean, don't have them in that situation then. Do somebody else or do a different move or do something. But I agree with you. I mean, the punt, when it's done correctly and the correct camera angle, it looks pretty devastating. But otherwise, it looks bullshit because it's his foot was 1.5 feet away from hitting that guy's head. It's okay.
Yeah, no, so that's the thing that I didn't appreciate, because, for example, right there is he's telling right there, Jean Paul, is sell the punt better. He's whispering right there. He's sell the punt better. He's if not, the guys from Robert are going to be talking shit about you. And we are. And pretty much are, because it looked bad. And, Drew McIntyre is done. He's on the floor. He's just, they're, pretty much, trying to get up. And then we go to, this will be, the main theme of the show, pretty much. Because we're going to see these 2 guys, pretty much in 3 more segments. Do I like that? I still have mixed reviews about that. I don't know if you need to have the same guys throughout the whole show. I'm not really happy with that. But
no, I mean, but so far though, if I'm watching this live, I'm fine with this so far, because I'm okay, it's going to set up the match for Payback, and it's Drew's going to be hurt, and it's going to make sense. Then Randy Orton can win. Okay, legit. But then as the show went on, like you said, we saw more and more segments with these guys and the inclusion of, our boy Keith Lucius Lee. So then it's then at this point, it's I don't really like this as much as I did, at the start.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So, something that doesn't make any sense either is we got a backstage promo from our girl, Nia Jax, and she says that pretty much the suspension is completely over. She's good. She's fine to wrestle one more time. And then we get interaction with Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler and her, they said, well, about the Raw Underground and everything. And she's well, look, I want to have a match with Bayley. So, just be, look how I beat her and stuff like that. I wasn't too thrilled about this. I mean, Bayley and Shayna is a good stuff. It's a good match. I thought it was going to be great. But in the end, of course, they have to add Nia Jax into this, because they were still trying to find contenders for the tag team belts. So what do you think of this, Paul?
I mean, Nia Jax to me is, like I say in the Monday Night Raw reviews, I have literally no good things, nice things to say about her at all. Literally zero. She's annoying. She can't wrestle, all this stuff. And Shayna Baszler, I'm is this really the best you have to do with Shayna Baszler? I'd rather see Shayna Baszler get teamed up with literally anybody else.
Yeah.
Turn Bianca. I mean, Bianca Belair is a baby face, completely on the babyface side, but I'd rather see that team up. That's legit. Where you have this, you have Shayna Baszler, who's a legit, wrestler. Then you have Nia Jax, who just yells and flubs around the ring, and it's okay. But they don't know what to do with Nia, and they want to push her, and they know Shayna's good, but they don't think she's pushable, so they just put the 2 of them together, and they're here we go.
Let's just do it. Like you said. And, pretty much the match was going well, though, because Shayna was dominated a little bit. Bayley kind of trying to get offense on Shayna. It was going really well. But of course, in WWE fashion, this is what I mean. This is when I think that they, like you said, the script was just pretty much put together on the fly. As let's just go with it and whatever.
And as soon as Shayna got thrown to the outside, of course, Nia had to fly down, and just throw her into she literally touched her, and it was dang disqualification. Which I guess for Nia Jax, it's a little bit okay, because she's just a menace. She's the Kool-Aid man. She just bursts through the wall and just beats people up, and it's okay, whatever. But in other match, like I think it was last week, somebody came down and they did like the same thing, and it was like ding, 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 DQ. And then the week before, there was a beatdown and everything, and the ref's like, "What's going on?" And there was no DQ. So,
no, remember
again,
when like Seth Rollins came out last week? When you did the Go Home show for SummerSlam, Seth Rollins and Mickey James and that they were still fighting.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, it's so inconsistent every week, and that's another thing that like annoys me. And like I just didn't care. As soon as I saw Nia Jax on the ramp, I knew this was going to be a DQ, and I'm like, I don't care.
If you like a picture of cake right there for the guys, that like love cake right there, Jean Paul understands, so we're good. We're not even going to elaborate on this, but like Shayna and Nia Jax pretty much are, you said, pretty much forced into like a tag team. They are like, and of course, like in WWE fashion, right away, oh boom, yeah, they're going to be the new challengers for the tag team belts. So that's what we're going to have, and we have a really good illustration for what we're going to see at Payback. So I don't know what are your feelings about this match.
But this is, I mean, I don't like this match at all. Literally, the Riot Squad I would have rather see win the belts. The Iconics, literally anybody, any other team. Now you saw Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke on Raw Underground. Why couldn't you put one of them with Shayna Baszler and have just the other one be, or like Shayna Baszler even manages them? And then it's like, okay, then you can do like a New Day thing, and you can switch in whoever.
Yeah, be like a three women tag.
Yeah. But I mean, with Nia Jax, she's like, I want these tag titles from Bayley and Sasha, and you're gonna help me. And then Shayna Baszler's like, I'll help you, so you get off my back. Yeah. If you're the tag champs, how can she get off your back? You're gonna have to keep dealing with her. Are you gonna make her defend the belts by herself? So I'm like, okay, already the storyline makes no sense.
Yeah, and like that's the one thing.
But I would want Nia Jax off my back as well. That would probably cause a lot. I just
don't understand, like you said, and like we even have another segment, so we're just gonna try to go with this with Nia and all this like stuff like really right away, because there was gonna be a Raw Tag Team Championship match, is a lumberjack match, but like these two girls, like even like Shayna or Nia, they were not even there, but they have another backstage promo, and it's like you said, I want those tag belts, and like pretty much says like, okay, I'm gonna get you off my back, and boom. She pretty much slapped Nia Jax really hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I'm like, are you going to win the tag team belts? They're going to do like the Attitude Era days that like they hated each other. But then, they're still tag team champions.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is this like Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold? I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? But like, it's, yeah. That's Monday Night Raw for you.
It's just, yeah, exactly. That's just Monday Night Raw for you. And like this is when the show like completely loses its meaning, loses its sense. We were not really looking forward to this, and then they go to something that is even more meaningless, insignificant, and that is like the 24/7 championship, and that's a triple threat match according to Mr. Egg. He loves this. No, there's nothing to love about this, but it was like R-Truth with Shentel Benjamin and Akira Tozawa, and I mean I love Tozawa, but like with the ninja thing, it's like to me even that would be considered racist. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh, it is. That's like it's like, oh, what's that? You're Kairi Sane and Asuka. You're both from Japan. Well, now you're going to be the Kabuki Warriors instead of just being like when Io and Kairi were a tag team, they were the Sky Pirates because she's the genius of the sky. Kairi's a pirate. You just take the names, but like Japan Kabuki, okay.
Yeah,
but no, like you said, but does anybody care? No, especially because they don't give these guys. We saw so much bullshit. All four of these guys can go, or three of these guys, whatever it was, can go, and it's like let's, let them have a legit contest. Even though the belt is meaningless, the rope break championship means more than that belt.
It is true,
but like if you let these guys at least wrestle and put on a good match, then maybe I'll be like, oh, okay, then I'll maybe care a little bit.
Yeah, and then they don't do that. And Akira Tozawa, for the 10,000th time, he becomes 24/7 champion. But it's like you always say, it's like, do I care? Or why am I supposed to care about this? So I just don't understand. And, but this is pretty much when the show was really downhill for me. Like, Tozawa winning it, that means that R-Truth next week is going to win. So that's pretty much what
I was actually surprised he didn't win it like 25 minutes after this happened.
Oh well, yeah, but you're so right about it. Like because if you think if you just give it a little bit of thought, you saw the entrances were that long, and like you said in a few shows ago, they said like they're really trying to kill time because they don't have anything written. Like Randy Orton, we're gonna talk about this guy right now. Like his entrance was like took forever, and if you think about it, it's two entrances.
Yeah, he came out He came out a couple times.
Yeah, you know, like it's Akibo, and don't get upset. Yeah, don't be getting up. You don't be getting upset. It's like no, don't be talking shit. You know, let's see the face of Shada Shriver. It's like, don't be talking shit. I'm legit. No, you're not legit. You know, like why? And he's like, oh, I need like some insight from you because you know what happened with Drew McIntyre and all of that. And she's like, don't worry, I'm gonna come out because you know we need 10,000 more segments. So give me a second. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna address the WWE universe. I mean, his promo was okay, but was not really meaningful. What was gonna be meaningful is what was gonna happen after that. But see, like he's like, what? Let me talk. He's like, no, you don't need to talk, Randy. But see, like he started to talk about McIntyre and how he punk kicked him again. And like you said, I was thinking, okay, give me my rematch for Payback, we're good. But all of a sudden, no, Jean-Paul. No, what happens after that, Jean-Paul?
You know, we got the debut of somebody who it should have been legit. And now this feud, you know, well, let's just say, you know, everybody already knows Keith Lucius Lee came out. And at this point, I'm like, you're going to feud him with Randy Orton. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, except Randy Orton is still in the middle of this feud with Drew McIntyre.
That's what I mean.
So you insert Keith Lee into this. What does that do? And now this is almost like a Dominic Dijakovic story, and they just flipped it and changed it, and just it's like, oh, okay, now Keith Lee's best friend is Drew McIntyre all of a sudden, because I guess Drew McIntyre came down to NXT before he lost to Karrion Kross and was like, hey, Keith Lee.
We're best friends, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, we're both champs, so we're best friends. And now Keith Lee has to defend him with new gear, new awful theme music, so they completely dropped the ball.
Yeah, I mean, this so far, I mean, okay, like you said, Bad's in his glory. But after that, I was waiting for the rap. You know, like you said, Keith Lee singing his own theme music. That's legit. I really like that. And no, they completely switched the.
Yeah, just completely like mid card, just like guitar and. Stuff,
and they made it like generic. They made it for me really generic. I wasn't really thrilled for this, but what I did like, Mr. Leak, you know, best booker in the whole wrestling business, is the promo that he cut. Very paceful, very mindful before he said every single word. He's like, you know, hi, like you are Randy Orton, you know, but like let me introduce myself. You know, allow me to like tell you who I am. You know, I'm Keith Lucius Lee. You know, I'm known as the Limitless One. What is it, like the Moment Creator or something?
The Moment Maker. Yeah.
The Moment. Yeah, there you go. The Moment Maker, and he's like, I know that like you being called the Viper, the Apex Predator, and lately the Legend Killer one more time. So like it was really good. I was really looking forward for this because, like you said, like I was like, okay, if they did a good thing with Matt Riddle, they can do something really good with this guy, Keith Lee. But to me, it's like maybe. It's just this Ben's idea of, okay, this guy's popular, let's just bring him here. I don't know what they're going to really do.
I still have hopes for Keith Lee after this. But I mean, like changing the gear, changing the ring music is like something eventually in 2 months from now we'll all be used to it. You know what I mean? That's not something that's like, okay, whatever. But like he had the great showing at the, you know, Survivor Series, decent showing in the Royal Rumble. I mean, nobody from NXT really did good in the Royal Rumble besides Bianca Belair in the Women's Royal Rumble. But, you know, it's tough to say with Keith Lee right now. I agree with you 100%. I love his delivery in the promo he did against Randy Orton. And Keith Lee, to me, has it all. He has the promo. He has the in-ring ability. He has the look. Yeah, you know, some people might be like, oh, he's kind of fat. He's whatever. But like Samoa Joe said, when Byron Saxton said, oh, he does amazing things for his size. Samoa Joe was like, no, Byron, he just does amazing things for any size.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like, for example, a guy that can even do a moonsault, it doesn't matter. You know, for example, Humberto Carrillo can do a moonsault. Are we behind the guy? No. Mm-hmm. But see, Lucius like does it, and his the intensity, even the promo ability is right there. I'm not saying he's a 10, but he's a pretty decent 7.5, 8. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward for what they do with it. But I thought that like they put this match way too soon. I was like, okay, maybe having like this is when like, we said, please do a jobber. Bring any kind of jobber here. No, Randy Orton. What's the need for that?
See, I mean, now we saw again. I mean, I don't, you know, with spoilers or whatever. We saw Retribution in the main event. This would have been a perfect thing to have Retribution come out and you just see Lucius fucking throwing him out of the ring, just beating the shit. Because then it's like, remember how when Retribution always hit the ring, everybody would be scared and they'd run away? I mean, yeah, on SmackDown, it took the whole entire roster to chase them away. But if you got Lucius just throwing them all around, that makes him look legit. And Randy Orton could even be walking up the ramp like, fuck this, I don't want to deal with these guys. But Lucius is just taking them out. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
But instead, like you said, he called out Randy Orton. And Randy Orton's like, you want the match? You want it? Well, not right now.
Yeah.
And he rolls
in a heel fashion, whatever. We've seen that before. And then boom, now we're gonna have is this announced for later on in the night? Keith Lee against Randy Orton. I mean,
and can they please? I mean, Keith Lee, he shaved. Can they please get like an updated graphic?
Yeah, that he's shaved. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
really?
Don't use the one from NXT. You know.
Like, you're like the biggest fucking wrestling company in the world, and you can't update your graphic.
Yeah, and let's go to like even like something that it didn't even really make any sense. Also, is like Montez Ford going against Angel Garza. I didn't really care for this at all.
I'm so done with this feud. If you just want to say who wins and we just move on, I literally could not care less about it.
Good, Mr. X. So let's do it in parts. Boom. They have this little promo right there because Zelina Vega, they ask her, hey, like you poisoned Montez Ford. Can you really admit that? It's like, no. And then she's like talking to Angel because Angel's like, well, I think you did. And Zelina's like, what the hell are you trying to talk about? It's like, no, I didn't do anything. Blah, 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 blah. See, like right here. They're fighting. No. He's like, I got.
Yeah, I forget what he said. Something. He's like, oh well, like you should. He pretty much said that she did it, but she didn't do a good job, like covering it up or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, oh, so you're saying she did do it? And then it's like, they're turning him into an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So then pretty much Angel is like to Demi, not Lovato. We still don't know why she's there. But like, he's like, are you gonna be there for my match? And he's like, maybe I haven't seen Eric yet. And I was like, really?
Ivar. Remember Ivar. It's the fat one. It's like, only fat people get laid. Remember that.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I'm trying to gain weight. But like, see, and they have like this thing with like Charlie. Is like who's like the best out of the two. So to me, all the charisma, all the hope that I have in Garza, absolutely gone.
Oh yeah, the only thing I like about you show this picture right here is Garza's pretty much like, oh Demi, come to the ring and watch my match. Oh Charlie, you too. And Demi's like, oh, okay, I'll go because she's just a dumb whore. And then you have Charlie who's like, ew, like Garza sleeps with anybody. Like, no. So at least Charlie has a little bit of class and standard. A little bit of
dignity, yes. When it comes to like, not dignity, it's Garza because you're right there. Pretty much like one of the best frog splashes in the business, if not the best frog splash.
Yeah, look at that height, and he turns in midair. I mean, like I said, Montez Ford is the only thing from the Street Profits and this whole feud that I'm really behind. Everybody else either awful or they're just jobbing around.
Has like the potential of just being, like a really great main event player because the intensity, the ability to promo, and this, the fact that like as an athlete, him and Bianca, they're like pretty much just amazing, both of them. It's just, absolutely great. And of course he won. Did we care about this? No, not at all. Because I don't think.
Yeah, and there was even and we shouldn't forget the most important part for like the 4 people who actually liked the storyline is Ivar came out with the turkey leg again, and he walked. He's like, "Oh, Demi, come with me," and she's, as her blonde hair signifies how big her brain is. She's like, "Oh, okay," and just walks out there with him, and then Angel's
like, right there, Temple, right there, right there. See,
so done.
Done, like, and that's what supposedly caused the distraction for, Angel, and then Montez Ford takes the advantage, and then he's the one that, like, gets the win, and like you said, pretty much the storyline is just completely unnecessary. We don't need to really keep talking about this. So now, Jean-Paul, let's talk about something that it makes a lot more sense, and that is, well, let me backtrack a little bit of sense, and it's like, it was a 6-man tag, and that was like 3 girls, like the Riot Squad, finally without Sarah Logan, but a reformed Riot Squad with like Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, but with the help of Bianca, Jasmine, Belair. So like she's the one that like the 3 of them are gonna go against the Iconics and Zelina Vega, and even like the Iconics didn't have an entrance this time. Zelina Vega was the only one that got an entrance. Luckily for all of us because we got to enjoy her beauty. But see, this match also was pretty quick, and all of us knew who were going to win. I feel bad for Liv Morgan, though, Jean-Paul. I'll tell you that much.
Is it just because she doesn't get really any like screen time, or like why is that?
Because like she had a better opportunity to be a singles now, a singles like person. Maybe try to go for like a #1 contender match for the Raw Championship.
This is what I'll say about Liv Morgan. She's trying to get better. I feel she wants to get better. She wants to be good and this and that. But like She needs to be in the ring with somebody like a Bianca or Rhea Ripley or a Bayley or a Sasha or an Asuka. Somebody who's like good and can carry. If you put her in a match with even like a Ruby Riott, I wouldn't even say Ruby Riott's on that level. The match is not going to be very good because we've seen the two of them wrestle, and it's nothing I'm going to go back and watch again. So to me, Ruby Riott is, I would say, ahead of Liv Morgan, but Bianca Belair is leaps and bounds ahead of both of them. So Bianca's the stud in this thing, and I knew it's like, okay, they're going to try to get the two baby faces in the Riott Squad. They're going to kind of get them a win, but the workhorse of this is going to be Bianca because, like I said, she's the real stud and the star of this. And unfortunately, they had to put the heels together. And Zelina, her crew loses all the time, so what does it matter if she loses? And
I feel bad for Zelina because she's a good wrestler too.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, like, they don't care about that, though. I mean, you see Shayna Baszler's a hell of a wrestler, and she's in a storyline with Nia Jax.
I know.
So what is that? They don't really know what, or unless it's Charlotte or Becky, and then I guess you could say Asuka, Bayley, and Sasha as well. All the other women, they don't give a shit what the storyline is. They're like, throw them together, and we don't care.
I mean, like you said, like Bianca is like she's gonna be the star. Like Bianca has again, like Montez for both of them. Whoever, if they start having babies, like that baby's pretty much is gonna be bouncing in the belly because like they're so good and athletic. So like it's gonna be amazing. But I mean, hopefully they do some justice to Bianca. But in order for Bianca to do something, they need the title to be on a heel. Unless Bianca goes heel, which it will be. We'll say like a Sasha Banks version, even like tuned up to like a 13 or 14, which I will love because Bianca has all the potential in the world. Bianca is just that good.
I would love to see her be like, I mean, I know she is still 10 is with the Street Profits, but I'd love to see the three of them turn heel. See how that would go.
That will even be, and have like a team like that. Like to like the intensity that all these guys have. Because even like Angelo Dawkins, he's okay. He's not like the greatest thing ever, but at least combined with Bianca and Montez, he's gonna look really good. I would love that instead of having them babyface. And I don't think that they sell that much merch because pretty much they keep selling like baby faces and heels because of this how much like t-shirts they sell and all their merchandise. I don't really agree to that, but let's go to something that is even worse than this. So you can tell that the mood is not there, family, but it's because the show was not great at all. Look at this, arm wrestling right there. Two guys that could be like legit. Like so good in like a mid-card scenario. Two guys that like could be like carrying the show, putting on great matches week in and week out. No, this is what they're doing. That's
I can't stand Ricochet on the main roster, and Cedric is just about to get to that point. Ricochet, to me, I want to slap him in the face. I want to tell him to grow a set of nuts or have his nuts drop, become a man, and start acting like one. They act like little high school kids. Like I said, they're always joking around. They're doing the arm wrestling like they're trying to squeeze out a shit, probably that's bigger than them. And then MVP shows up, same song and dance. Oh, you're still hanging around with this fool? He's the one and only. He doesn't want a partner. And instead of calling him, I would get in his face. I'd be like, listen here, Montel, Vontavia. I would get in his face, call him by his name. There was like, hey, P, like come on, P. Like really? Like I said, they're like high school losers to me. I don't care. I mean, okay, they're jacked. Look at them, but they don't do anything. And when they're out in the ring, they lose. Why do I keep seeing these guys every week? You don't do anything with them. This was a useless segment.
That's what the Fiend feels about it. You know? Yeah.
Cedric Alexander isn't going to join. MVP. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to turn these guys heel? Have them feud? The feud leads to nothing, and then both guys go back to catering. Exactly. You know what you should have did? Remember when they were a tag team and they were going against like Ever Rise and Andrade and Garza were still legit, and Andrade knocked out Cedric with the back elbow and it was like a legit hit. They should still be a tag team. They should be challenging the Street Profits and be, but instead here they are.
Yeah, they're doing just absolutely nothing. And we go from absolutely nothing to absolutely worse. Right there. Natalia and Lana.
No, I mean that don't look too bad. You're looking at the screen. Oh, okay.
If you're looking at them, like both of them. Lana, I just don't have a lot of because like pretty much she shows her body every 5 seconds or every 5 in either like TikTok, even like like in every single like social media thing. But like they had a thing. Keep going with the rivalry that they have with Mickie James, and they said, "Oh, we'll have a video of the highlights of Mickie James' career." So like pretty much nothing. So they're laughing about it and boom, Mickey James comes out and takes care of both of them. And a chick kick for Alana, and Mickey James like gets the upper hand. So like they have this feud going. I really like Mickey James. I've been a fan ever since she's been a wrestler, and I hope that like they do a little bit of justice, because there was a lot of reports that she was really pissed off about how they deal with her during her return last week. So hopefully like they give her like same amount.
Oh, I mean, I think all the fans were pissed too. Like we said, she was having a match with Natalya. Now, is that match anything you really want to see? Maybe not, but like it's a returning Mickey James. I want to see that, and if you kind of do an interesting storyline, then yeah, I'll be hooked. But instead, you got Rollins talking to Samoa Joe. Oh, where is he? Where's Rey Mysterio? And it's like, oh, okay, thanks, Mickey James, for everything you've done for the company. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
It's like, oh, thanks, girl, but like, you know, we're not even going to pay attention when you have a match. So like, yeah, that's pretty much.
So, I mean, like I said to you, her and Asuka had a match in NXT, and it was pretty legit. At a takeover, I'd love to see her and Asuka have another match again for a title.
Too, if you make her like, if you want her to be a bitch, she'll be a good bitch. So you know, yeah, let's do it. So now Jean Paul is 10 o'clock, so that means Raw Underground. So we have like a poor Dolph Ziggler. Bobby Lashley was really, really pissed off, and you guys asked me why they were pissed off. Is because he had like the arm contest. He has the arm contest, and that was like he did like this thing with like, who was it, with Bobby Lashley, right?
Oh yes, well Cedric, you know, yeah, he had the arm wrestling contest with and that was a big thing, but like we don't even care.
Yeah,
Mark Henry was gonna be, you know, because Mark Henry came, he's like, oh hey guys, you know, I need this, you know, this arm wrestling stance. You guys got to stop playing with it. And then he had these guys come and lift it, and again, Cedric and Ricochet being children, they're like, ooh, that thing's heavy. Look at them lift that. Ooh, that's heavy. I'm like, are you fucking? I literally would like slap the shit out of them, and I'm like, you guys are fired. I'd literally fire both of them. I'm so done with them. But yeah, they have this thing, and obviously Bobby Lashley should win. It's a bullshit thing because fucking Apollo Crews just steps on his foot, slams Bobby Lashley's hand down, and Mark Henry's like, yep, Apollo Crews wins, and that's it.
Yeah, look right there, Jean Paul.
Yep, done.
Right there, done. And then of course Apollo leaves. He gets all like, oh yeah, I'm good. He's all legit, yeah. And now what is that it turns out to be? So like at Payback, they're going to have a U.S. Championship match. So Apollo is going to be defending again Bobby.
Well, this is Apollo. Okay, and also, can we quick say too, when Apollo cut his promo, when him and Lashley had this promo, and Lashley's like, dude, I don't give a shit about you. Like, I'm a fucking monster. I'm going to rip you in half. Like, you're bullshit. And then Apollo Crews is just smiling from ear to ear. The same thing. He's like, hey, really, man? Yeah. I'm the United States champion. Let's do this thing, man. He's like, oh, yeah, you want to call me small? I heard that all my life, man. And all this stuff. And I'm like, he's literally going to get ripped in half.
I hope that, like, you know, Bobby Lashley gets the U.S. championship.
That's almost guaranteed.
He was that pissed. He was that pissed, Jean Paul, and that's why he's like, you know, he goes to Raw Underground and he's like, let me in. You know, he's like being the Bray Wyatt. He's like, let me in. I want to beat somebody. You know, I want to rip them in half. So that's what pretty much happened, because he actually took care of Dolph Ziggler really quick. He actually sent him away. You know, he's like this. You want to watch Robert? Yeah, he sent him away, and then he beat like another guy. So he beat like two guys, like really, really quick. I mean, out of everybody, Bobby Lashley is pretty much the one guy that he will be like really, you know, believable guy when it comes to these things, right, Jean Paul? Because like
Bobby Lashley, yeah, he's the most legit fighter because he was an MMA fighter. So he's the most. I mean, and just look at the guy. I mean, there might be somebody who knows how to like maybe fight or like shoot, wrestle, or shoot fight better than Lashley. But he's definitely the last guy who I'd want to pick a fight with on the Raw roster, just looking at him.
Exactly. So now, Mr. Egg, let's go to like we said, Kid Lee against Randy Orton. This match was like really short, you know, like this, and Kid Lee dominated semi-decent, but like you said, new gear, new entrance, new theme song, like completely different than what we were used to seeing him on NXT. We're not really happy about this, but like this match, like I said, like Randy Orton looked pretty surprised right there. Look. Oh God! Like it's like, okay, he's actually good. The Limited is actually a good wrestler. So, but this also like just happened to be because like again, Drew McIntyre got the pawn twice, so he needed like to show up because he's a WWE champion. So he needs to show that he's like still good, right, Jean Paul? So he shows up and then boom, he starts attacking Randy Orton. But then like he kind of like Randy Orton goes to the back, like he escapes from Drew McIntyre, and then while he's in the back, they're still feuding. but then Randy Orton gets the upper hand, and he takes care of Drew McIntyre. I think he does another punt, right, Jean-Paul?
Yeah, he does another punt. Yep.
Yeah. So 3-1, and for Shawn Michaels it's fine because he doesn't sell it at all, but for Drew he does sell it. So look at this, done. That's how we all are when we're like done watching this show. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
And like you said, Lucius looked good. I like where Randy Orton had some offense. He was throwing a punch, and Keith Lee just caught his punch, and Randy Orton really sold it that it's like this guy's strong as hell. So like Randy Orton, you got to give him that. He sold Keith Lee well, but then as soon as Randy Orton, he took him to the outside. Keith Lee ran into the post. He threw him back in, got the offense. You think, oh, is he going for the RKO? What's he doing? It's done. Like you said, Drew came out, boom, 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 let all this, and it's like, okay, and then Keith Lee, he was like interviewed, and he's like, this is so bullshit. I told Drew to, let me, do this. I didn't need him out there. He was already done. And like you said, they signed the match for Payback. So
the one thing that I'm just gonna say on that, Jean-Paul, absolutely going on everything that you said, but I just gotta reiterate what you just mentioned is like, hey, they did this kind of going with the same guidelines of like Dijakovic and Keith Lee. So I'm not really, happy about this, but they're gonna have a match at Payback. If Keith Lee doesn't win and he gets jobbed out, absolutely another wasted opportunity. So I hope that.
And speaking of that, like I said, the only way I could see him losing is if Dijakovic has to come out and cost him the match, and they turn heel, and Dijakovic aligns himself with Randy Orton.
That could be.
And then him, and I know we've seen them wrestle many times, but it's on the main roster, so I give it a pass. And Dijakovic would be heel instead of both guys being babyface, and it's like, oh, let's see who's the better wrestler. Now you have him be heel, and he can be like, you were bullshit, blah, 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 NXT, carrying a cross, you just let me get choked out. I have a family at home, did you not think about them? What if something happened to me? And even though Dijakovic was like, no, let me go. He can just twist that because he's heel. So it's like,
exactly.
If they do that, then I don't care. But if it's just one-on-one and Lucius loses clean, then,
Then done. Yeah, then, we're might as well, he should have stayed NXT champion. So now let's go Jean-Paul Kevin Owens show. This was a little earlier in the show, but, Raw Break does it how we want it because it's our show. So, he's interviewing Aleister Black. We mentioned that in the SummerSlam reviews in the channel for every single one of you to watch. So he said he actually goes and opens the door, right? And he's like, oh, are you there? Are you ready? We got to go. So pretty much Aleister Black shows up. And he still has the eye patch because of the situation that happened with Rey Mysterio because he tried to be nice, he wanted to be legit, and he's trying to. Kevin Owens is interviewing him. Is like, how do you feel? Is we know that you had this rivalry and everything, but the main story right here is I remember Jean-Paul texted me. Is if he does the mask black and done, we'll be good because the only reason that they have this segment is for Aleister Black to turn heel, and that's pretty much what happened. Boom, black mask to Kevin Owens and. His heel is good. This is going to be probably another match at Payback. I'm pretty sure they're going to add this at Payback, and they will announce it on Friday, maybe. But I'm happy with this. And this is, to me, one of the best parts of the show. Just because Aleister Black deserves better, his character will work so much better as a heel, so I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, and to me, you got to have Lucius win against Orton, and somehow get out of that feud. And you got to have Aleister Black beat Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens, to me, is only a step or two above Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. I'm pretty much done with him as well. So, those two guys got to lose, and then you got a feud, to me, a heel Aleister Black with a brand new, debuting babyface in Keith Lee.
Yeah.
That's the feud you got to do, because we didn't really see, we didn't see that at all in NXT. So, that's what I want to see. Because I don't want to see Kevin Owens go over. I'm done with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was legit when he was on SmackDown, and he was almost like Jon Moxley is in the Stone Cold wannabe, but he was mostly just using the stunner. He at least wasn't dressing up like him. And, the feud with Shane McMahon and every stuff because it was real. He said, there's a bunch of legit wrestlers that want to be on the show. Then he comes to Raw, feuds with Seth Rollins. Oh, okay, it's legit. Then since Mania, done. I know he was hurt. He's not hurt now. So
no, it's good, but they don't put him on anything meaningful. So yeah, and of course he's gonna have to drop down to Aleister Black because he needs a win because it's a brand new.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, because if I was running a wrestling promotion and I could only push one of these guys, I'd push Aleister Black. So I'm fine with that.
That's how Jean-Paul the Booker feels. So now let's go to like women's Raw Championship match, Lumberjack, and that's Asuka defending against Sasha One Bell Banks. And they
I want to ask a question: has there ever been a Lumberjack match in the history of wrestling that you watched, that you popped for, that you were like, "This is so legit"?
No, I don't really recall feeling so excited about any of the Lumberjack matches, because it's just I never really liked them too much.
To me, it is such a bullshit stipulation. The whole point of it is nobody's supposed to come to ringside who's not already there, and nobody's allowed to leave the ring. You need to load up the ring. That it's like when these women, or even the men, when they roll out of the ring or get thrown out of the ring, the people on the outside kind of just look at them.
Yeah.
They're like, so, like, you're supposed to be stomping on them and punching them and throwing them back in the ring. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, and they never do this right anymore. I mean, They just did this match because, of course, Sasha wanted a rematch, and also it's to bring more dissension to Bayley and Sasha. So the storyline keeps calling for that. So that's why they did it. And I mean, the match itself was pretty decent, but it's we've seen this already last night. So,
I mean, to me, I wouldn't even go as to give it that much praise. It was extremely short, by the time everybody made their entrances and did all this stuff. A little bit of back and forth, and then Shayna and Bayley kind of, got at it. It's like, oh, Shayna's not even supposed to be here, what's going on? Bayley got distracted, Banks got distracted because of that, and then done.
Yeah, and then she got the chicken wing, the Ascalog, and put them, chunk her out. And this time, Sasha was not oh my gosh, I can put out with the whole 10 minutes. No, that pretty much really quick and done. Boom, right here, right there. There you go, done. And so that's how we all feel when we're done watching Monday Night Raw. Done. And then this is Jean-Paul. Yay, we gotta do the review.
And you know what? You could have got the same amount of dissension and distrust between these two with a promo, but instead we have to see Sasha get pinned again. Or so actually submit this time, which I would say is even worse.
Again, yeah, no,
and it's what's the point? And somebody brought up a good point, which I mean, hey, again, if I could push one or the other, I push Asuka over Sasha. Sorry, Sasha, you're legit, but if I can only push one, it's Asuka. But Sasha has never successfully defended a women's championship. She's always lost in her first title.
And I have a quick fact that I didn't say it in the SummerSlam review, but every 27 days, she's lost the championship. Every time, it's been 27 days. She has not been champion longer than 27 days. So they were saying that, in all of the sources that we follow and everything, they were saying that it's always been 27 days after, she just loses the championship. And like you said, I mean, the storyline is for Bayley and Sasha. So bring the dissension, but I think they stretched that way too long. It should have been done for this, WWE. Let's go, Jean-Paul, to more Raw Underground, and that they have pretty much the Hurt. So what is it? The Hurt Association.
The Hurt Business.
Hurt Business, they took care of the Viking Raiders. Do I really care about this? To me, already Raw Underground is already dead. I don't really like it at all. It's just they took out everything that feels special in the WWE. They just made it unspecial the next week. It just felt where's the other guys that were trying to fight? Where are girls right there for fighting it? It was just mostly to cater to Bobby Lashley, to MVP that just lost to Apollo in the pre-show, and now all of a sudden you make me think that they're legit. Why?
It's because, like we said, they literally had
too really quick. Of course.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with these guys.
Yeah, so I just don't understand why they keep going these routes that actually become boring. And the concept, the first week I was really okay, this seems interesting. We'll see. We'll give it a shot. No. Now it doesn't mean anything for me. No. It's just I just want to change the channel. And now, Jean-Paul, let's move on really quick to Dominic Mysterio, the Mysterio family right there. The one thing that is absolutely funny is Mysterio is actually the smallest guy out of all of them. So it's I don't know who's the kid here. It's Dominic or Mysterio. But look at this. It's what am I that short, Jean-Paul?
Yeah. When I will not lie to you. The whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, this is gonna be Juan and his family.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is gonna be so legit.
Right here, you gotta say the Juanzo's family, right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my wife is like pretty much tall, and
there's Jean Paul Eck in the back. I'm on my phone. I'm reading the sources for Rope Break.
Pretty much, you know, he's like putting like news and on the page and everything.
Yeah.
So he was like mysterious, saying, "Hey, I'm really happy about what my son is gonna do. It's gonna be a really cool, exhibition because we're gonna fight for the first time, son and dad, or father and son together. We're gonna go against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. So this cool.
And let me just say, I love Rey Mysterio's shirt that he is on. That's a badass shirt.
Oh yeah. He's amazing, and like I mean, it was cool. Is for finally is the main event time, Jean Paul. Like it feels like it was a really dragging show. So like this is like the match that they had was like pretty short too. It was good for the little bit that we had. The gear was good for Dominic. He's still showing like that he has a lot of potential. Like you said, if they keep tweaking him and he keeps learning a little bit of he will make mistakes along the way. But I feel that the more he keeps fighting people like you said, Rollins, like Murphy, like people that like they've been doing this for the longest time, and he's able to grasp all the feedback that he gets, he's gonna be amazing in like a year from now, we're gonna be talking a guy that like could easily be a world champion because he's tall enough. He has the look right there. That's legit. That's
I would have loved if they would have put the belts onto Angel Garza and Andrade. And you could have had Dominic and Mysterio. They somehow got through this Rollins feud, and it's done. And then you have the two of them win the tag belts together, father and son.
Yeah, that would have been a great moment. See, like you're all about moments, and that's I think you need to go to WWE because they need moments for me. And see, like this was really cool. I was loving this the whole time. Like him dominating the match, he right there taking both of the guys out, diving, extremely good. Like I mean. He has, like I said, a lot of potential. Hopefully, Rey Mysterio being there, hopefully is also a good reason for them to be like, hey, my son is legit. Take care of him. Don't be doing him wrong. But, when it comes to doing him wrong, see right here we have a thing. He almost like Buddy Murphy almost wins, but Mysterio kicks out somehow. I really like the in-gear gear. It was really cool. I really like how like the yellowy, like kind of flashy, really cool stuff. But then Jean Paul, of course, they have to do wrong to the Mysterio family. I don't know why they hate Rey Mysterio and his family. But Retribution is part of the show. They all lined up and they start attacking Dominic and also Rey Mysterio while Seth freaking Rollins just leaves. And see, that's the thing. To me, do something to the heel too. Don't just go to the faces. At least for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean when they attack that, like you said, you're just beating down the baby faces. To me, that makes it think that it's like, okay, like are all the heels aligned with you? But we saw that wasn't the case on SmackDown. So it's like, are you just part of the Monday Night Messiahs team? Well, you're probably not that either. I don't like it. We shouldn't try to find logic in WWE. I feel like that's our problem. When we look for things like logic and things that make sense, we're never going to find it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, they beat down the baby faces because they wanted Rollins and Buddy Murphy to still look strong, but they didn't want Mysterio and Dominic to lose clean. So Retribution it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Jean Paul. Absolutely. That's what I think they did. And then at the end, they stand tall. See, we got to see a great picture of Retribution. They all stand tall. They took care of the Mysterio family. So maybe that's the next feud that they're going to have, or like they're just going to start taking out the baby faces. So that's what it's going to be. Am I excited about this? No, it was a bad show. I wasn't happy with this at all. And Payback doesn't seem too great. So, Jean Paul, that's pretty much what sums it up.
Payback. I mean, I don't know who it's Payback for. It's not Payback for the fans. Like, give us a good show. Maybe it's Payback for WWE.
It's like we give you something, good.
And the one thing I want to say is, apparently, this week, now, who knows what the original script is? Because we said it's been ripped up. We don't know. But Shane McMahon was in charge of Raw. I believe starting this week.
Oh my God!
I know they handed over creative control. This is during last week, after Raw, like Tuesday, Wednesday. This news article came out. They said creative control is going to Shane McMahon.
It's going to be like how bad SmackDown used to be, like doing like 2 years ago, or like a year and a half ago.
But the thing I will say though, I would want to see Shane McMahon's original script.
Oh yeah, well Shane, and I know that Shane has a lot of potential because Shane is good. Shane is like, if he will be in charge, things will be a lot more smooth.
That's what I mean. Like the way that when you have it that like
for main event, and we're gonna talk about it in 2 seconds about this. What the hell? What the hell?
The only thing I will say is there might be a way out of this where, like, you have Braun Strowman and Roman somehow beating the shit out of each other because they don't like each other from previous encounters. And maybe the Fiend can take advantage. You can have like a ooh-wah, big spear, and he goes for the Superman punch, and the Fiend catches him, mandible claw. But they won't want to have Roman lose right away, so maybe he'll just mandible claw, pin Strowman again. But yeah. I think there's going to be a way out where
if you want Retribution to just take over, do it during this match. Please do it, because I'm going to feel really happy if this is what I get to see at the end of that match at Payback. Because I just don't have any, if I see Roman winning the Universal Championship right away, that for me is the end.
Oh, if Roman wins it, the Fiend is done. Then that's officially done.
Everybody else is done. It's like, put Matt Riddle against Roman Reigns, make Matt Riddle win it. That's all I have to say. So, Mr. Egg, let's go. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I really appreciate every single one of you giving us a chance. Robert keeps growing, and we're really excited about this. So please, Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
Well, you can find us on Facebook on Rope Break. You can find us on Twitter, the OG Rope Break, Instagram, the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best content in the YouTube wrestling community for the meat and potatoes, the original Rope Break.
That's right, baby. So, family, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a second date with Emergence, with Impact. It's going to be night 2. It's going to be really interesting. Diana Perazzo, Jordan Grace. 30-minute Iron Women's match. It's going to be Eddie Edwards defending, maybe by hits later. We don't know who's going to be, so it's going to be really cool. Willie Mack is going to be against Brian Myers, so good. A lot of good, interesting stuff. It's going to be a really good lineup.
Yeah, I think night 2 will be a lot better than night 1.
It will be a lot better. Road Break, as usual, will be covering that. So, in the name of Jean Paul and myself, we have one word that is left to say, and that is...